Hi, everybody. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, October the 15th, and we're in the middle of October here, a couple of weeks till Halloween. All right, I'm seeing a lot of people still joining us here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. Lots of room in the front here. Come on in, gang. It's 8:02 right now. Let's get started. And I think Aaron's probably just joining us as well. I don't see him logged on quite yet, but maybe he slept in. I'm sure we'll catch up to him in a little bit here. So anyway, while we're waiting, hey, just want to welcome you all. And if you are new, please put in the questions box that you are new, just so I know, so I can give you a big shout out. If you've never been in one of these sessions before, love to have you here, of course. And of course, all the people that were here before. See a lot of old familiar names and some new names as well. Again, let me know if you are new. All right, just put in the questions box. You'll find a little questions box icon on your Zoom dashboard, Q&A. Just click on that. I'm the only one that sees that. And if and when Aaron gets online, he'll see it as well. So then we'll get into some questions and stuff later on. So this is going to be an interactive session. So any questions or comments, just put them up there. All right, that's what it's all about. All right, while we're waiting, hey, we lost one of the great actresses here, Suzanne Summers, 76 years old. I think she's just like a day or two away from her 77th birthday. One of my favorites, actually, in the female actor segment there. She was, I think she got her fame in American Graffiti. She had about a 5 seconds clip in that movie. And interesting how that started. I'm just kind of killing time here while people are joining us here. Interesting how that started, because she almost didn't get the job. In fact, she was at the audition, and she was going to run out and move her car because she didn't have enough money to feed the meter. So she was going to move her car. Then somebody came out from the audition and said, "Oh, hang on a second, George. I think it was George Lucas. He wants to see you. So just wait." So she took her chances with getting a ticket on her car, parking ticket, and then he came out and he just asked her, "Do you know how to drive?" And she says, "Yes." "Okay, you got the part." So she became that girl, the blonde in the Thunderbird, in that 1973 movie American Graffiti. You guys remember that? One of my favorite movies of all time, American Graffiti, all that old stuff. That was really pretty cool. I love that movie. I can still watch that. I can watch that all the time. Anyway, and then I guess what happened was Johnny Carson got wind of that and said, "Who's this mystery lady in the Thunderbird, the mystery blonde in the Thunderbird?" So he brought her onto the show. And then the I guess the producers of Three's Company or something found, so that's the one we want, and they got her, and anyway, the rest is history. So but anyway, she became very famous from that little 5 second clip on the movie American Graffiti. Anyway, you're there, we're here. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. It is 8:05, and let's start the recording here.
Recording in progress.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Week Ahead, DayTradeSPY.com's Week Ahead, looking at the week coming up, looking at the week that left us, week coming up, and see what's going on here. And I am the presenter here this evening. My name is Hugh. Co-host is Aaron. I'm not sure if he's going to be joining us or not. He may be coming up a little bit later on. And it is October the 15th, 2023. Got this disclaimer, got to throw up there for you. All right, by attending this webinar, you fully understand, accept the financial risks involved in trading securities. I'm going to let you read it. I'll give you a few seconds to read it, and I'll just shut up. You're going to hear me for the next hour, so you don't want to hear me now, right? So anyway, take a look at this, and just remember, you alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Charts are courtesy of TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, and or Tastyworks, depending on what we show here tonight. So with that, let's move along here, folks. That's our disclaimer. Just want to remind you, Money Show is coming up here. Money Show Traders Expo in Orlando at the end of this month, October the 29th to the 31st. And it's going to be at the Omni Orlando Resort, Champions Gate. That's going to be pretty exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to be there. So come by, say hi to our booth, and we're also going to be presenting. Not really sure who's going to be presenting when. I know Aaron's going to be presenting. I might get up on stage as well. Not really sure yet. We'll see what happens. We've got Brian Perry, Roger Michalski, George Gilder, Dr. Marskausen, and I mentioned Aaron and myself. And we're all going to be there various times. So drop by and say hi if you're in the Orlando area at the end of this month, October the 29th to the 31st. We'd love to meet you. All right, we'd love to meet you out there. So come on down. All right, let's move along here. And this is me in real. Let me get that picture back. Where did it go? There it is. Hiya. Not very photogenic here today. This is my casual attire here. I love this shirt. It's an old shirt. And anybody ever had that? You got that old shirt, that old blanket. You never want to let it go. You just you hold on to it. I've got about 4 or 5 shirts like that, and my wife is always threatening to get rid of them, buy new ones. I said, not a chance. These are my old lucky shirts. Anyway, so folks, again, use the questions box for any questions or comments you might have, and let's get moving here. All right. So I want you to meet the host this evening. My name is Hugh, and most of what I learned, folks, I learned from the trenches. Real quick background here. Real deal, you're getting the real deal. This is the stuff. What I teach you, I learned the hard way. From years of making mistakes, years of doing good trades, years of in the trenches, deep mired in the mud. Most of what I learned from my losses. Okay. And if you don't learn from your losses, you don't really learn a whole lot from your wins. I think you celebrate your wins. Oh, good. I got a great trade. Great. Then you move on to the next one. And so many lessons I can't begin to tell you. And I don't know if you're getting in are you guys getting in the newsletter? We have a newsletter that goes out, I believe, every Thursday. Make sure you sign up for that if you don't have that already. All right. Make sure you get onto the DayTradeSPY website, leave your name, get on that newsletter. You want to get on that. We give you some insights every week on things on the newsletter. It's not very long, it's just a quick read, but it's very insightful. I think you'll enjoy it. And a little bit of a background into what we do and who we are and whatnot. So, but anyway, I'm looking at short-term breakout trades, small, multiple times a day. That's what I figured works very well. The way I see it, I'm just not that smart to determine where the markets are going to be a year from now or 6 months from now. I mean, even 2-3 weeks ago, did we think that there was going to be a war between Israel and the Palestinians and stuff? Did we think that the Hamas, I shouldn't even say Palestinians, the Hamas, is that really? There's all these little flare-ups all over the place, and a couple of years ago we didn't think there'd be a war between Russia and Ukraine, and so so many things seem to happen geopolitically. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes I wonder, and I've been hearing things that we're closer to World War III than we realize. I don't know. It's kind of scary, but I mean, when you think about it. So anyway, I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but just trying to be aware of things. But anyway. I don't know where the market's going to be even a week from now, but we've got a pretty good idea where the market's going to go today and tomorrow, just based on what we know with news that's coming up, news that's happened, and marry that with your technical indicators, right? And I think from that standpoint, it's actually pretty good. So being able to derive small multiple gains a day out of the stock market, you're able to grow your account balance up very nicely. And that I think is the idea. All right. So then what happened was we've been doing this. My background, I used to be with a Fortune 500 company in internal audits. I've been working with numbers for forever. I've always been in the numbers business somehow. When I started making money on the market after realizing that, if I just do less of what doesn't work and more of what does work, it's amazing just how life can change to the better. And I started as an internal auditor. I used to be a salaried employee, and I would hand off a lot of my money to my financial advisor to invest in my retirement. Then when I realized just how little money I had, he had blown up half my account. That's when I ceased control of my account, realized I have to learn how to do this myself. Here it is. I thought, okay, one more thing I have to put on my plate, but I realized a couple of things then. Number one, nobody cares or should care more about my money than me. All right, let that sink in for a second. Nobody cares or should care more about your money than you. Nobody. Second thing is, with the power of the internet, we all have the same information literally at our fingertips as much as anybody else. All right. Your financial advisor is not any smarter than you can be when it comes to learning how to make money on the market. They don't know anything. They don't have any special backdoor insights into things. They are in the market just the same as we all are. And they, I have to think they try their best, but they're also fueled by the people that back the products that they're selling, right? They're going to be selling their products. And is them and those people who are going to be giving them their commission. So I think from that standpoint, it's very important to know who's paying the freight here. Do they really care about you? Or are they just using your money to advance their own agenda? Right? Are you just not a pigeon to them? At least that's the way I felt. And when I took over control, yeah, I've had some losses. Let me tell you, there's probably nobody online here right now with all these people online. I don't think there's anybody here who lost more money over the course of this period of learning to trade than me. I also made a lot of money. I had some really fantastic wins. I don't know if they were by accident or design. I remember, and this is a chat line, folks, so don't get excited if I'm not getting into it right away. But I remember it was in 2005, a friend of mine, Dave, put me onto a really cool trade. He was very close to Exxon. He really knew Exxon. And I was very familiar with another company called Hershey. And I knew that at that time, in those days, those years, every year, I think it was around February the 5th or 6th, for about 2 weeks, Hershey would go up. For 2 weeks, it would go up. And I think I remember putting in, I want to say $5,000-$6,000 on a Hershey, and in 1 week, I doubled my money. I was so excited. And then Dave, my friend, told me about Exxon, and he said, oh, something about Exxon earnings. I forgot the numbers now, but I rolled over my profits from my Hershey trade into my Exxon trade. I bought really cheap options. I want to say 20 to 24 cents. I kept loading up the truck. I bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I think I ended up with probably about 900 contracts of Exxon calls between 20 and 24 cents or something. Again, I don't remember the details. I never set out then to do this. I didn't, make a point to remember all that. But I ended up in about, I want to say in about 3-4 weeks out of that whole deal, I cashed out with $250,000 profit, just north of $250,000 profit. Now, Dave, my friend, he also did the trade with a similar injection of capital. And when I cashed out of my trade, he was still in it, and he was up quite a bit more than I was. But then when I cashed out of it, he said, "Oh, I'm still going for more." I said, "Dave, I see it starting to flutter." And of course, I didn't know very much about options at that time. I was just kind of green at it all. But I felt that was a pretty good profit, pretty good return on investment, if you know what I'm saying. But he stayed with it, and then it started to go down, and down fast it did. And then, of course, he felt that the market was taking away his money, and he was going to stay in it until it came back. Well, anyway, it didn't come back. In fact, it dropped like a rock. He did cash out with about a $15,000 gain, which is still pretty good. He still kind of like doubled his money, but it wasn't anything like that. I think he was up about 280,000 or some ridiculous thing at one point. Now, the funny thing is, we never talked about it. Dave and I never talked about it. Just how much he left on the table that he lost had he sold when he could have and should have. But I do recall going to see Dave a couple of times in the hospital for depression, and I suspect that this might have been something. It certainly didn't help anyway. So haven't talked to Dave in a while, but there's some really good lessons out of that. Really good lessons. Anyway. One lesson there too, by the way, from those earnings, because Dave's friend Ann, Dave's sister Ann, I gave Ann $20,000 to play with. I mean, money just became so, I don't know what you want to call it. It didn't have any value when you make that kind of money out of nothing. It just kind of came, come and go, right? Easy come, easy go. I handed her 20,000. She blew that up in about 2 weeks. We had a lot of fun. Anyway, with that money, I did a lot of stuff and bought an airplane, and I got into SPY. Eventually, I got into SPY, SPY, and I learned, I got into SPX first and SPY, and I got into day trading options on SPY. That's when I finally hit, like, it's just like, okay, I felt like I came home. Okay, this is where I want to be. This is what I understand. I get it. I totally get this. And I loved a couple things about SPY that were really good. So those of you who are not familiar with what we do, all we trade is SPY options. We don't do any spreads. We don't do any naked positions. We don't sell first and then buy. We always buy first and then we sell. But one of the things that several things lured me into SPY: the liquidity, the volume, the low price to get in, the diversity of the whole thing. I mean, all the sectors are represented in there. But there's one key thing that really attracted me to it, and that was the fact when I discovered that most people lose their money trading options. And you're hearing all these numbers, 95%, 98%, whatever it is. I'm just looking to see, is this a good picture of me or not? I wonder if I put this on, would this maybe be a better picture of me? I think maybe a little bit clearer. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, the fact that most people lost their money trading SPY actually was a real positive for me. I felt that, okay, though, that's interesting, because I don't really have to know everything about SPY. I just have to know a little more than those other 95 or 96% of the people that lose their money. Because if they're going to put money into this business, I might as well take it out, right? That was the way I felt. So if I just learn a little more than they know, that puts me at the advantage. And that's exactly what happened. And then when I started making money on this business, people started, bringing home the toys. Like I mentioned, I bought a new airplane, vacations, new cars, new house. Life was pretty good. Life was pretty good. And people started taking notices of, Hugh, what are you doing? Did you win a lottery? Can I give you my lottery numbers? I said, no lottery here, just trading SPY options. So they coursed me into putting it up on the web as to what I'm looking to trade. So I started with this very rudimentary website. And anyway, long story short, that was 14 years ago. And as I understand it, we now have, as I understand it, the longest running trading room, continuous running trading room every morning, 9:20 to 10:30. There we are. All right. So that's kind of what we do. So last year, 2022, I guess we got the attention of Eagle Financial Publications, and they bought us out. Made us a deal we couldn't refuse, and we brought on Aaron Stevens. I don't see Aaron on right now, but he may join us later. I'm not really sure. But so he mastered deep dive technical analysis, working for a fund, $150 million fund, commodity fund, and he identifies longer term, high probability trades. So when we get into these positions, okay, and when we agree on market direction, strength, it's a really good shot that it's going to go in that direction. You just might want to get into some call options if we're going up, or put options if we're going down. Anyway, that's our background, and we've been doing very well with it. A lot of people are very excited about what we do. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to have a little pumpkin patch chat here later on. We're going to be in the pumpkin patch. We're going to talk about our $2,000 to $10,000 trading room challenge. We want to talk about your challenges. So I want you to put those up. Think about those. Put them up in the questions box. Why trade SPY? Why you need us? Why you need DayTradeSPY? And we're going to answer any questions you're going to have. Bear in mind, folks, going to keep it kind of general. So we're not going to get into your specific trades during this session. We do that in the trading room and also in the inner circle. So if you do subscribe to our trading room or the inner circle, all right, we do take up your specific questions every Tuesday night at the meetup in our inner circle, meetup at 8 o'clock. And of course, every morning in the trading room, we also get into any specific trades you might be in. But here's what we're going to discuss later on. So bear these in mind, and then maybe we'll address those. So right now, let's take a look at the week in review real quick. It's not where you've been that's as important as where you're going, but still want to take a look and see what happened here last week. Let's just stretch this out a little bit here. Monday, we had a no news, low news day. Markets just naturally gravitate up in these when there's no news. That's good to know that. Well, they still are going to hit some level of resistance, and we did hit resistance at 432, leveled off, got into a post-market, pre-market into the next day, still gravitated to the upside, had a continuation of the rally until Fed member Waller and Kashkari spoke. These guys are hawkish, which means they favor higher interest rates for longer. And then in the afternoon, the market retreated, came back down about 434 and a half, 435. Saw the reversal on SPY. Doji here at the last hourly candle of the day, but we stayed pretty true to that level, just over 434. On Wednesday, we had some PPI numbers come out. All right, PPI numbers, and that was on Wednesday. That was on Wednesday. PPI producer, was that producer price index? I think it's called. I just want to check that, make sure I got that right. These are numbers that are going to give us some indication of inflation, right? We want to look and see what inflation is doing here, and I think that's really important. So there's several numbers: core PPI, which excludes food and energy, and various numbers like that. Producer price index. These are one of the many numbers. Just one of the many numbers that the Feds use to gauge whether inflation needs to be attacked or are we okay. But when they come in hotter than expected, it's inflationary, and the market does not like inflationary, so therefore the market went down. Okay. On Thursday, we had CPI numbers come in, CPI Consumer Price Index. That too came in higher than expected, and as well as lower than expected unemployment claims, which tells us that the labor market is very resilient and people are still working. So both of these numbers were inflationary, and SPY reacted by tanking about 7 points by the end of the day. At the end of the day, we did come back up here, however, a couple points up to that 434 resistance level. Friday, consumer sentiment, inflation expectation reports came in. They were not able to supersede positive bank earnings, however, and the numbers came out, and the SPY dropped, found support at 430 to wrap up the week. And that's what we found here. So, in fact, that's where SPY came in for the week, just 0.4% gain over the week. Year to date, we're at 12.7%. NASDAQ fell a little more, and it fell it came down minus 0.2%, but it's still up over the year to date by whopping 28.1%. And the Dow came in at 0.8% to the upside on the week, and up year to date 1.6%. Let's see what drove the market real quick last week. Well, of course, the events in the Middle East should not be dismissed, but markets do have a long history of overcoming geopolitical shocks. That it did. It didn't seem to stick around in the low end for too long. Focus on the implications for oil prices, interest rates, and the dollar. The market doesn't care about the humanitarian issues when it comes to wars, strife, turmoil out there. Excuse me. It looks at, well, what's going to happen to oil? What's going to happen to interest rates? What's going to happen to the dollar? Israeli attacks triggered the initial flight to safety. Government bonds, gold, US dollar all rallied. Oil jumped more than 4% on supply fears, but then it gave back a lot of the gains in subsequent days. Interest rates approached a cyclical peak, but for a rally to materialize, Feds are going to have to cut rates. And the pundits, all the analysts, everybody seems to be very optimistic for a fourth quarter to wrap up the year. All right. And usually because we had a negative third quarter, most often after coming off a bad third quarter, we have quite a rally in the fourth quarter. So I expect this last 3 months to be a pretty good way of wrapping up the year. Now, of course, we didn't have the war in Ukraine. We didn't have the war in Israel. We didn't have China looking to take over Taiwan. We didn't have the weak administration that we have, and the fights that go on internally here. So who knows where it's going to be. Looking at the seasonal charts, this is a seasonal chart, folks. For those unfamiliar with it, that blue line is where SPY is now. SPY, the stock that tracks the top 500 stocks. Basically, essentially where this economy goes, that's where the stock market goes, and that's kind of what we're looking at. That red line at the bottom is a compass of the last 5 years closing price on the daily charts. And let's just expand this, get into this a little more to see where we sit with it. Now, if we look back at the last week, we rose about 2 points last week, but seasonally, SPY still rose only about 1 point the following week. So relatively flat. Let's see what's coming up here during the week. The week ahead, Monday, we've got the Empire State Manufacturing Index, also called the New York State Manufacturing Index. We also have earnings coming out. We're starting the earnings season right now for the third quarter. Schwab, other banks are going to be reporting. Tuesday, we've got retail sales, industrial production, capacity utilization rate. We've got hawkish Fed member Michelle Bohm speaks. And to a lesser degree, we've got Canadian CPI numbers coming out. Now, normally we don't look at that because we don't really care. However, the last time what happened was those numbers came out and they were actually higher than expected, suggesting that inflation in the North Country was pretty hot. And I remember the market here in the US was a little concerned about that. And they reacted to that thinking, because I think pretty soon later in the next week or two, the Feds were going to come out with their earnings, and the markets got a little jittery over that. So I don't know whether that's going to have an impact now or not, but they are expecting those inflation numbers to be higher than expected over there as well. That could have an impact on the markets here. Earnings, we've got Johnson & Johnson, Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York Mellon, United Airlines. Those are just some of the companies reporting on Tuesday. Wednesday, hawkish Fed members Waller, Williams, Bowman, and dovish member Cook all speak. Building permits, oil inventories, earnings coming out. Tesla, Netflix, Abbott Labs, Morgan Stanley. What is this? Bancor? I'm not sure what the U is. Let's get rid of this. We got I don't know what that is. What? We kind of missed that one. Anyway, whoever did this thing. Anyway, Kinder Morgan, Travelers, Las Vegas Sands, State Street Bank, M&T Bank, NASDAQ, they're all coming out. I don't know what this Bancor is. I'm going to just remove this right off the chart because I'm not really sure. I don't want to put up something that I'm not sure. Anyway, there it is right there. Let's just, for the record, keep that up in the charts the way it's supposed to be there for, like that. So Thursday, unemployment claims again, weekly unemployment claims, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, existing home sales. Fed Chair Powell also speaks on Thursday. He speaks on Thursday. Let's see what he's going to say coming up on Thursday. It's not a rate announcement or anything like that. I want to just pull that up on Thursday. That is coming up. Let me see. Where is he going to speak? I believe he is going to be, yes, he's speaking at the Economic Club of New York luncheon. So we'll see volatility probably kick in because whenever he speaks, the markets listen and they react. That's coming up. We also have earnings coming out Thursday, including AT&T, Intuitive Surgical, Freeport McMoran, Fifth Third Bancor, not Firth. Right, Fifth. There we go. Get the spelling right. And Friday, it's going to be a low or no news day. Now, of course, we could get some items popping in on Friday that we don't know yet, but right now we just have basically earnings. Earnings continue on American Express, Schlumberger or Schlumberger, however you want to pronounce that. So here's the way I see it rolling out here. The bottom line, we've got moderate volatility Monday, increasing into Thursday, and probably lightening up on Friday. So you're going to want to look for some profits there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on the news. Keep an eye on the news. Trade the news, right? News moves markets. News is the fundamentals, underlying reasons markets move. Of course, integrate that with the technicals. Come Friday, you might want to just take a few points off the board. Don't get too crazy on Friday. Markets have managed to stay relatively resilient despite that uptick in volatility brought on by the layer of uncertainty with geopolitical issues. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world right now. And I think this war and now this whole Israeli thing is going to intensify. I think we're going to see a week of heavier casualties as Israel retaliates, and it's not going to be fun. So I'm not sure how the market is going to react that way. If there is a threat with Iran getting into the mix, possibly disruption in oil and energy that may fuel, no pun intended on that one, but it might fuel the inflation gauge again, which could send markets down on the threat of higher interest rates. So there's all kinds of ramifications that can come out of that. We'll see what happens. Expect markets to respond possibly to inflationary pressures with the eye to the upside with earnings. However, earnings have been good so far. Banks to date have reported positive results. If that's any bellwether to earnings coming up, I think that could show us some positive effects on the market to the upside. And of course, we're going to see what that brings. All right, we're going to see what that brings. And so it's going to be an interesting week. Interesting week for sure. I don't see the White House coming into this international mix here at all too much. If I recall, I think we sent a couple of ships over to the Middle East or something, but I thought we'd have jumped in there a lot sooner than we have. So anyway, folks, point is many opportunities are provided every day. We show you how to spot them and how to trade them. All right, how to spot them and how to trade them. So I think that's really kind of important. I like this lady here with her magnifying glass. Kind of cool. Oh, who, me? Yes, you, lady. Yes, you. All right, let's talk a little bit here about our 2K to 10K challenge. Give you an update. I know people have been asking about this. People have been watching this carefully. People are sitting on the sidelines. So my question to you, what are you doing on the sidelines? For goodness sakes, jump into this. It's never too late. All right, maybe you're not going to take 2K to 10K, but maybe you'll take 2 to 5K or 6K or 3K or 4. You know what? And that's kind of the objective here. So for those of you who are not familiar with this little program that we have, this is actually pretty cool. We actually did this before a few months ago, April to July. We took $2,000 and within 3 months, we turned it into $10,000. Only trading, trading the profits up. Okay, trading the profits up. So no, you can't put $20,000 and get a couple hundred, and then you add that to the 2,000. No. You start with $2,000, and you can only trade your profits. So that's what we do. Every morning we get together and we see, okay, so how much do we have to trade with today? How many contracts can we buy such and such a price? And we decide, are we going up or are we going down? Are we not going at all? That's still an option. You don't have to trade, right? If there's no move, if we don't see an impending move, we're not going to trade, right? Cash is a position. Cash is a position. So I want to make sure that we're on the right side of the tracks here and that we're going to move in the direction. And this is a spreadsheet. I've been watching this on the spreadsheet. So based on the popularity of what happened there several months ago, we decided to do this again. People kept pushing for us. So starting on September the 25th, just a couple of weeks ago there, 2-3 weeks ago, we started it again with $2,000. And our aim is to make $10,000 by December the 25th. Well, according to this model, it looks like we're going to get in well in advance of that, assuming everything goes right. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Good thing my desk is made of wood. Yes, it is. So basically, this is kind of what we did here. We track our trades, start $2,000. We got a profit target of $50, 51, 53, right up here along this column here. And then we've got our budgeted ending balance, right? But the actual gains is what I put over here and my actual balance. And there's my budget variance over here where you see, well, let me just kind of come and highlight this a little bit here. There we go. So right now we sit at this. We're supposed to be, our budgeted balance is supposed to be at $2,897, but we're actually at $3,463. So we're ahead of the game here by $566. We're ahead of the game by $566. So if I look at this 3463, let me see, 3463. I think I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have to trade for the next 7 days. In fact, 7 trading days, a little bit of more than a week, and still be ahead of the game. And that's the beauty of it. So according to this, we can still keep going. And this model here, I've got this little graph here. That red line is where it is right now. The blue line is the budget. looks like we're ahead of the game quite a bit by moving it forward here. So, but I think here's the important part under the notes. And anybody who's using a spreadsheet like this, and by the way, those people in the trading room, they also get the spreadsheet so they can track along whatever they want to do. But I think the notes are really important because that's kind of what we do. I mean, I just log what I traded. And by the way, there are 3 days in there that I did not trade. Either I was not online or I was sick or for whatever reason. So, if I didn't trade, I noted as such and still ahead of the game. So that's pretty cool. So that's the 2 to 10K challenge. This is something we do in the trading room every day. Every day we get into the trading room and that's what we do. So, and we have fun. All right, here's our pumpkin patch. I quite like the pumpkin patch. Isn't that inviting? Don't you just want to kind of run through there, collect all those pumpkins? Carve them up. You ever notice the flavor of the day? Everywhere you go is pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice. Everything is pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice. Man, I'm so sick of pumpkin spice, but I still love it. Anyway, pumpkin spice donuts, pumpkin spice coffee, pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin spice everything. I love pumpkin spice. It's a good thing they only do it once a year. So I wish they would spread it out over the course of the year. Then I can consume it all the time. But it's actually very good. All right, let's get into some questions, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually your part of the show where you can ask whatever questions you want. And let's just go to our Q&A box and see what we have here. So I open it up. Okay, Mr. Roberto, haven't received the links for next week. I'm pretty sure you will get them before the end of the evening here. You should get them before the end of the evening. And if you don't have them by, say, 11 o'clock, let me know. I'll endeavor to investigate deeper and find out what's going on. In fact, I don't see Aaron's not on yet, so I'm not really sure where he is, but he may be preparing them. He actually prepares the links and sends them out. So rest assured you should get them by the end of the night here. So what's your current thinking about trades that go against you? Repair, stop loss? Ralph, depends on how much. Okay, so if you get into a bad position, there's a couple things to do. Now, what I like to do is this. So I'm going to explain my repair approach. And when I do this in real, this is what I do in real, okay? And I also try to roll it over into the simulated accounts. Now, because of FINRA rules, and I have to stay out of trouble, I can only show you sim accounts. But when I talk about numbers, those are real numbers that we are talking about. So I've got 2 screens. So I have my real charts on the one screen and my sim charts on the other screen. Okay, so just so you know. Anyway. If I'm in a real trade and I'm down somewhere between 40, 50, 60%, then I will flip over, look at this trade and see, okay, what's going on? Why is this down? What happened? What happened between the time I got into the trade and I thought this was going to be a good trade, and now that the market has gone down? Okay, because I generally do not get into a trade unless I am very convinced it's a good trade. Or should I say my risk is I'm 90% sure that it's going to be okay. I mean, I'm never 100%. Nobody's ever going to be 100%. But, I like to feel 95, 98% sure it's going to be a good trade. Maybe if I feel 90% confident, I still might take it. But anyway, did I go down on a news item? What was the news item? Was it a news item that was so strong that it just shot it down quickly? But this particular news item is going to wash out again pretty soon and reverse course. It's a question of using stop losses. A lot of people like to use them. I don't, because I found that I used to lose a lot of my money with stop losses. And if you want to lose your money, use stops. And here's what you'll oftentimes find happens, that you'll use a stop. Yeah, you keep watching. So you stopped out, right? So you're down 20%, you stopped out, you're so happy because you only took a 20% loss. But you keep watching that trade if it's still your trade, right? And then you watch it, and then another 10 minutes later, it reverses, goes back up in your direction. Then you're saying, I can't believe it. Why didn't I stay with the trade? And then 20 minutes later, you've been up 20% or 15, 16, 28, 28, 30%, right? Has that ever happened to you? Well, I discovered that stops do not really work with trading options. All right. That's just not a good strategy. So when I want to get into a trade, I want to make sure I'm extremely confident that I'm getting into a high probability trade. So I want to make sure it's a very, very high probability trade. So I have my set of indicators. Aaron has his set of indicators. And if I say, I think the market's going up, Aaron, what do you think he'll do his analysis, completely independent indicators. And if he says, yeah, I see the market going up too, and here's why. Well, now we have this agreement that both of our sets of indicators agree on the market's going up or down or whatever. That's a pretty high probability it's going to go in that direction. So you might want to buy calls if it's going up or puts if it's going down. So in regards to my trades, if I find I'm in a situation where I'm down, I found that the market has a very good memory for support and resistance, but a very poor memory for news. And oftentimes the news will wash out and it'll reverse. So one of the key things you have to understand is how much time you have left. If you have plenty of time left, you can either leave the status quo and let it come back organically and see where it goes, or as it comes back up in your direction, find that optimal point to repair the trade and take advantage of a repair. And as a last resort, if you do not have time, in other words, if I'm in a trade and it's say Thursday, it's gone against me, this thing's going to expire the next day, and I don't see any catalyst to move it back in my direction, I'll probably cut the loss. And every now and then, you do have to cut the loss. But cutting losses is not the first defense for me. It's the last resort. I don't take losses lightly anymore. All right. I don't take losses lightly anymore. So now for my own trading, what I do is this. If I'm going to allocate, say, $1,000 to $2,000 in a trade, I will have in my reserve fund, it's kind of like a mental reserve of up to $10,000 for a trade. So I will mentally allocate up to $10,000 per trade. That's not what I initially get into a trade for. So let's say spend $1,500 on the first trade, on the trade, then it goes against me. That leaves me with an $8,500 cushion with which I can repair the trade if I need to. And then there's a whole way of repairing the trades. So this comes back from my insurance days. I used to be in the insurance industry and management. So when a claim would come in, let's say this was an automobile claim, fender bender, and back in the days, a couple $1,000s would actually repair a fender. Not anymore. I don't think anymore. But let's say, the initial claim comes in, guy hit a pole, it's his fender. So send out the adjuster, it comes back. Yeah, it's probably about $2,000. So we would set up a reserve, $2,000, but a reserve fund of say maybe $10,000 for any additional expenses that were required to fix that claim. Maybe it was car rental, maybe it was a light that was in the fender that had to be replaced as well. Maybe there was some I don't know, bodily injury or something that might come as a result of that claim. So you'd have this reserve fund that you allocate as a liability for that particular claim. And then when the claim gets paid out and closed off, you release the liability. Okay, so the claim turned out to be $3,500 instead of $2,500 or $2,000. And so, you pay the claim out and you also eliminate your liability. So that's kind of where I brought that in from. All right. So when I initiate a trade, I will have up to $10,000 available to fix the trade if I need to. And that gives me a comfort level. It also gives me a cushion with which I can do it. And that's one reason I do not have losses. I don't like to have losses. That's kind of the idea behind that. So, all right, moving along to the next question here. Good evening, Hugh. Thank you for the service. You're welcome, Mark. Glad to talk to you and glad to and to have you online. You recommend a percentage to trade with an investment account and 2 retirement accounts. Okay. Okay. So percentage to trade with an investment account and 2 retirement accounts. From a money management standpoint, there's different perspectives on this, and I've seen some crazy things like, well, if you have $100,000, only invest up to 1% of it. At the same time, we want to make money too, right? So I like to think that if I have $10,000, kind of going back to that old example, if I have $10,000 in my account, I might trade 1,000 to 1,500 of it at most. I don't want to be in a position that will cover more of that, most of that. Now, when I have, and I have accounts as well, retirement accounts and stuff, but I don't put all of that in my trading account. I don't want to put all that into my trading account. And I'll tell you why. If you put your entire retirement savings account, and you might have, I don't know, a couple $100,000. Okay, keep your trading accounts separate. Maybe just allocate, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 into your trading account. Maybe $25,000, $30,000. Just so you have that margin in there, and you're not stressed, and you can. This trading account is going to move up and down for you. Okay, it's going to move up and down. So let's say you have $200,000 as your retirement. You're only going to allocate, say, $2,500 or $25,000 into your trading account. The reason is because it's very, very easy, no matter how professional you are, how much experience you have, how rested you are, how careful you are, very, very easy to push the wrong button on your trading platform. You might, instead of buying 100 contracts, you end up buying 1,000 contracts. You might, instead of buying something, you sell something. Look, we all make this mistake. I was just telling somebody the other day on one of these chat lines here, on one of these contact us things, 15, 20-minute sessions. I explained them, it was about, I think 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, I was in a trade. Trump was president. He was going to be speaking or something. I know what he was talking about, but I had 100 contracts on SPY, and it was going to expire fairly soon. And I get a call from a buddy of mine, an old friend of mine from Florida. He calls me up, and stupid me, I answered the phone. I knew better, but I said, oh, Sonny's calling. I'll see what Sonny's doing. Okay. So I'm in this trade. I'm watching this trade. I'm talking on the phone, and I see the trade going against me in a big way. So something was going on. And then I knew that I didn't have a lot of time on this trade. This trade was supposed to go up. Instead, it's going down. I said to him, hang on. I got to sell these 100 contracts. I don't like where it's going. I got distracted. And guess what I did? So here I am with the mouse. Click, click, click. I'm going to sell these 100 contracts. You know what I did? Unbeknownst to me at the time, instead of, I click on, right? I click on. Then I'm still talking to him. And I said, wait a second, my account's going down faster now. What happened? So I said, Sonny, hold on. I go back, I analyze. Instead of selling the 100 contracts, I ended up buying another 100 contracts. I couldn't believe it. Here I am, been doing this for years. How can I be so stupid? So you can see how easy it is to make a mistake. Anyway, long story short, I flipped the whole thing around. I ended up taking a bath for a few $1,000s on that thing. But I learned another lesson. Actually, I learned this lesson a long time before, but it just reinforced the lesson. Do not let yourself become distracted. When you're in a trade that requires your attention, you got to pay attention. That's why you have voicemail. That's why you have email. So just reaffirm that. Do not let yourself get distracted. Anyway, the reason I say don't put all your retirement account into that is because if something should go horribly wrong, you can't call your broker and say, you know what, that was a mistake. Just put the money back in my account. Sorry, pal. They'll laugh at you. You know that. They'll laugh. And you could easily lose way more money than you expect. So I don't know, Mark, how much you have in your investment. Only put in your trading account what you're kind of comfortable with trading, because when you trade, your account balance is going to be in a state of flux. It's going to go up and down. and consider how you're going to feel when, let's say you have an equity position here and it's going to go down. Might go down several $1,000s. How are you going to feel? Are you going to get scared out? Are you going to get spooked out and want to sell and cut your losses? Or are you going to have the patience and say, no, I believe it's going to come back up, and here's why. It's going to hit some support level. There's news coming out. There's a chart pattern. There's this, there's that, whatever. Then when it comes back up, then I'll take the profit when I hit $1,000 profit, right? So you keep adding to your balance, but do not put all of your retirement accounts or your investment accounts in it. And yes, I have other accounts too. I don't have all of my money in my trading account. Trust me on that one. So I would just maybe put 20, 25,000 in there, start working with that. And if you do blow it all up, well, it's not going to, hopefully it's not going to affect you for the rest of your life, right? So I hope that makes some sense. Do you pay anything to Thinkorswim platform since your commissions go to Tasty Trade? Tom, I do trade both, although most of my big trades do go on Tasty. Most of the big accounts, my big trades go to Tasty only because their commissions are outstanding. It's $1 a contract to open the position, $0 to close, which is pretty well the same for Thinkorswim, except with Tasty, it caps at $10. So if I want to trade 100 contracts, I'll do it on Tasty because my commission is $10. With Thinkorswim, I think my commission on that would probably be $100. So, but yes, I still trade Thinkorswim as well, because I feel if I'm going to use their charts for their indicators, I should give them some commission as well. So I do trade both, although not as much. All right, next question up on here. If you're successful in the morning, why not keep trading all day? If you're successful in the morning, why not keep trading all day? Well, the way I figured that's probably why I'm successful in the morning is because I don't trade all day. When I used to trade all day, I would go in and out, in and out, in and out, and it would consume me, and I would have a lot of fun doing it. And sometimes I'd have 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 trades, 10 trades in a day. And I remember always that last trade seemed to be the challenge. Okay, it's going against me. Well, now what do? I look at the clock, 3:45. It's going against me. 3:45, 3:50, 3:55. I'm in a real bad spot. Well, 4 o'clock, I've got a decision to make. Do I sell for a loss and hand back a lot of my profits that I made today, or do I sit in this trade overnight? Well, if I sat in the trade overnight and it went against me, that obviously was the mistake, right? That was not good. And if I traded overnight and it went in my favor overnight, well, I'd be very happy, right? Because now the next day I'm in the good. But turned out that was not a good trade either. That was not a good idea either, because that would give me a false sense that I did something right, when in fact I just got lucky. So that's not a good trade either. You got lucky. You can't count on luck. And yet when I got lucky, it would reinforce that I did something right. So I would do it again until I didn't get right. And I'll never forget the day when I instead of holding overnight, I cut my losses, right? And I cut that trade, and I ended up calculating, well, how much did I make today? I made $1.46. In and out all day. I think I had about 6, 7 trades. I ended up with a profit of $1.46. So I said, okay, so all day I'm sitting here. This is what I got, not even a cup of coffee. That's when I realized that if I just cut off my trading at 12 noon, don't get into a new trade. If I can't make my money in the morning, I'm not going to make it in the afternoon. So I get in there, I make my money in the morning. I'm excited. The adrenaline's rushing. I'm paying attention. I'm focused. And I can focus for a short period of time. I don't think I can focus for 6, 7 hours with the same intensity as I can focus for 1 or 2 hours, if that makes any sense. Like the SPY magnifying glass, right? You're taking the sun and you're focusing it on that one spot. Remember as a kid who used to light fires? That was a big thrill. You get a magnifying glass. The first thing you did, let's go out in the sun and light a fire, right? Because you're focusing that light energy on one spot. That's the way I am with trading. I can focus my energy in the morning, trade, make my money, And then, so not only did I make money, but I kept it. And the other benefit was, the bonus was that I had the whole afternoon to myself. I could do other things. I didn't realize, oh my gosh, there's a whole new world out there. Other things, I can do other things. That's pretty cool. So I'd like to trade in the morning. This way I keep my money, I get the afternoon, and it's really pretty cool. It's really pretty cool doing it that way. Another question, why not trade the SPX? I trade SPY. There's the Russell, there's all kinds of things to trade. A lot more things to trade now than there were when I first started. I got crypto, I was telling somebody yesterday, the non-tangible non-tangible assets, non-tangible tokens. What is it? The pictures. What? So I can just create a little picture. I can go on Paint, create a picture, load it up to this thing, and charge $10. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I don't know. I trade SPY. SPY is the stock that follows the top 500 stocks. Liquid, affordable, diversified. It's got everything I want. Why trade anything else? Okay, why trade anything else? Next question. Can I just follow you guys and do well? If so, why do I need to learn all about options? Well, can I just follow you guys and do well? You can. I don't know if you're going to get it for the same price. We will. Now when we calculate our trades, we actually use very conservative numbers. In all likelihood, you're going to get them for better price than we do. All right. We usually have a very high buy price. When we enter a position, you'll probably get it for a better price. So yeah, you can follow us and do well. But what I like to do is I like to think to myself that, well, I read somewhere that, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day. You teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So that's kind of the philosophy we go. I know that a lot of people want to learn how to fish. A lot of people just want to fish. And I'm going to have some very exciting news for you coming up in the next few days. It's about, I'm not going to reveal too much, but it's about an alert system. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I want you to pay attention to your emails, because next few days, you're going to get an email about a very exciting new product that new service that we're going to be releasing. And very exciting, because a lot of people do want to just be told what to pick. Okay, fine. Personally, I like to learn how to identify the setups, identify the trades, how to get in, how to get out, so that in case that alert system or the guy that I'm following dies, or the guy that he wants to retire doesn't want to do it anymore, I'm not crippled. I have that opportunity, right, to create my own trades. Not only that, but I also have that skill I can pass on to my kids. And that is a very liberating feeling, let me tell you. Next question. If I subscribe, and can I get to all sessions? Do I get a refund for those I am unable to attend? No. Now, we have some very, very good programs. And honestly, that's kind of an interesting question. If I subscribe, don't get to all my sessions, do I get a refund for those I'm unable to attend? No. So when I was in college and I would skip class and go down to the bar with my buddies instead, that's what we used to do. They never gave me a refund on my tuition, folks. They don't care. Folks, you get to all the sessions, all right? The more you attend, the better you're going to be. That's up to you. All right, that's up to you. Our programs are priced incredibly well, much better than I would have, but hey, it's up to Eagle. Anyway, no, the answer is no. How long should I expect to be in the trading room to get good enough to do this on my own? Again, it depends on your learning ability, your ability to absorb the material, absorb the basic rule of the thumb there is that the longer you are in our programs, the better trader you are going to be. The better trader you're going to be, okay? It's just the way it is. Because you're going to be exposed to more market conditions, right? You're simply going to be exposed to more market conditions. And I think that's really important. All right, next question here. I've been trading futures, learning options has been difficult for me. What do you think about transitioning from futures to options? JJ, a lot of people do get into the trading room. There's some differences, but I think if you're already a trader, it's just a matter of transitioning in and you're learning the nuances, learning the Greeks, and we teach you all of that. Our trading room sessions are not just watch you and Aaron trade. These are actually sessions where we teach, right? We teach and trade, right? So I think that transition should not be all that difficult. As a matter of fact, Aaron came from a futures background and he loves options now. So, all right, will your new program be better than the black card trader? Grin, Johnny, yes. It's going to be an exceptional program. I think you're going to really love it. But Johnny, I want you in on that one. Okay, I want you in on that one. Unless you're doing so well, if you're doing all that well, let me know. Let me know. All right, I want to tell you about the trading room, folks. Because yes, there are some people here who have never heard of our trading room, our famous trading room. And this is moderated by yours truly, myself, along with Aaron. Every morning we get together 9:20 to 10:30. We've been doing it now in our 14th year, folks. Learn and earn from the best. If you don't mind me saying this, if you don't mind me blowing my own horn on this, I know it sounds arrogant, doesn't it? But you know what? This is the time I'm going to actually tell you. Aaron and I have been doing this for a long time. Separately and together, we have been in the market for over 40 years, market participation. I think we kind of know what we're talking about. Pretty sure we do. These sessions are interactive. You get to interact with Aaron and myself directly. You can say whatever you want. Nobody else is going to see your questions. No such thing as a stupid question. We invite all kinds of questions, interaction. And chances are, if you're asking a question, there's 10 other people behind you who want to know the same things. So the exciting trading. We have fun. We teach what we trade what we teach. I don't know of anybody else who does that. Real money, real trades. Watch us make real trades, real setups using real money. Questions, we get them answered in real time. But again, longest running trading room since 2010. We've got the 2 to 10K challenge in this trading room. That's where we do it. You're going to watch it in real time. You're going to watch it unfold. You're going to watch us make the money and add it to our spreadsheet every morning. And again, by December the 25th, holiday season, Christmas, we expect to hit our $10,000, right? Any other questions on the board? Let me just pull up the questions box to see. Do you have a success rate for the pick of the day? I don't have those numbers handy. You might want to call customer service or email customer service. They'll probably give you those numbers. They track all that stuff. I would say it's probably in the 95, 98% range, somewhere in there. Well over 90% for sure. Okay. And yeah, again, I'm seeing kind of running out of time. I don't want to keep you too late. Folks, listen, if you're interested in the trading room or any of our other programs that we have the Inner Circle, which gives you a flash assessment of the way we see the market every morning coming up during the day. You'll also be invited to our trading room, our weekly meetups Tuesday nights at 8. And of course, you'll be given an update every afternoon as well, early evening in the Inner Circle. The trading room I just talked about. We also have the pick of the day training. If you're interested in a full-on training course, I see that Eagle still has not taken down the I better show you this. We had several months ago we did a full-on training course, and you'll love this. It's called the Ultimate Training Course, and here it is right here. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. And if you go up here to the Ultimate Training Workshop, it's still there. You can still get this. These are the recordings. I think we've got 10, 11, 12 sessions covering everything from soup to nuts. If you've never heard of options in your life, this is where you want to be, including repairing bad trades, Aaron's 1 + 1 = 3 strategy, our strategy, scalping, OMG, out of the morning gate. It's all there. Folks, this session, this program is actually much more expensive, but they still have it up on the board. You can still get this for, look at this, $9.95. $9.95. 11 different courses. And if you don't jump on this, once Eagle discovered, I'm not going to tell them. That's their problem, right? Once they discover this, they'll probably take it off. You're going to be paying, if you want it, it'll go back up for the regular price of, I think, about $3,500 or something like this. Anyway, jump on that. You'll find that at the DayTradeSPY.com website. And it's up there at the very top under the Ultimate Training Workshop tab right there. Okay. That's it right there. So, folks, but if you want, go to the website, DayTradeSPY.com, and why not hit the contact us if you want to know more information, you want to discuss your particular goals, aspirations, or how you're going to get there. Set up a brief, free, no obligation, 15, 20-minute session with me and or Aaron, and we'll discuss it. All right. So again, 2 pro mentors, 2 pro traders, 2 pro coaches, combined over 40 years experience. And when we say, when our indicators unite, our trades ignite, that's not just a bunch of empty words. That is real. And I think you're going to enjoy it. The cost, it's less than a lunch a day, $6.99 a quarter. Every 3 months, you're paying, $6.99 for this amazing opportunity. So I think with that, subscribe now, folks, and get online tomorrow morning, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern. Every morning we're on. Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to thank you for joining us. Any other quick questions? I think we covered them all. As always, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow morning online.